up, swashbucklers? You're listening to Under the Crossbones, episode number 165. My name's Phil Johnson. I am your host for the show each and every week. Thank you once again for tuning in. I always appreciate it. I appreciate you telling your friends and sending donations and visiting sponsors and all that cool stuff that you do that helps me keep the old boat afloat. I am coming to you today from Laughlin, Nevada, where I'm finishing up a run of shows here at the Edgewater Casino. Lots of fun. Joel, Brian, and I, we're having a good time. He's been opening for me all week at various little places here throughout the Southwest, and it's been a couple years since I played down here, quite a few since I played in Arizona. Arizona is literally across the river, because the river in Edgewater, the casino here in Laughlin is right on the Colorado River. It's very nice. My room here at the hotel is overlooking the river. It's a beautiful river, and I can see Arizona because it's right there on the other side of the river. And what that means is my cell phone is freaking out. It has no idea what time it is because it's a different time on the other side of the river, and we're close enough where it has no idea what's going on. So my phone's been freaking out on the time the whole time. But we've been having a good time here. Doing the gigs. We've played places named the Something Saloon and another saloon, and then casinos for the rest of it. So it's been interesting. I haven't been down here for a while, and these are, well, at the casino this weekend. Kid Rock was also here last night, and let's just say Kid Rock and I don't share the same target demographic, and so it was interesting playing for that audience last night because they came to my show first, and then they went to go see Kid Rock. So they were already drunk, and it was quite interesting. But 6 of the people in the audience last night gave me a standing ovation. So I'll take it. You know, you take it where you can get it. The casino is nice. I think they're trying to. I think they're mad at us. Maybe I don't know, because they've given us 2 buffet comps each per day. So 6 buffet comps they gave me when I checked in, and so they're obviously trying to kill us because that's too much buffet. Too much buffet for any one person. I've been eating 2 buffet. Now you go in and you're like, well, I'm not paying for it, so I don't have to like gorge. I'm going to be here 5 more times before I leave, and it's impossible. You cannot get 1 plate of food at a buffet and feel good about yourself as a person. You can also not go to a buffet 6 times over 3 days and feel good about yourself as a person. So it's sort of a catch-22. And I've got two more buffet comps still sitting on the dresser here in my hotel room. So it's been strange, but the shows have been fun. It's been good. I'm not in California, most of which is on fire at the moment, from what I hear. So if you're hanging around any of those areas in California, I hope that you are safe. I hope that if you're listening to this, that you are definitely not running from flames somewhere. Nothing in my area. In case you're wondering, we're cool in the Bay Area so far. It's just smoky, like really smoky, like don't go outside kind of smoky. My mom sent me some text messages. She took some pictures where she was like, we can look directly at the sun. That's how smoky it is. There's enough of a haze that we can look directly at the sun. So things are going crazy in California. Stay safe if you're in any of those areas. Stay safe wherever you are, because, dudes with guns, things like that. Just be cool. Everybody be cool. Don't shoot anybody. Don't set anybody on fire. Anything on fire. Don't set anybody on fire either, because that's a bad thing to do. Look, my guest on the show today is PJ Dolan of the Secret Spot Escape Rooms in San Diego. San Diego, one of my favorite towns in the whole country. Love San Diego. And he has got a pirate-themed escape room. Now, I don't know if you've done an escape room before. I have not yet. I would like to, but I've not. It's just a thing I haven't gotten around to doing yet. But I hear they're lots of fun. And so we're going to talk game design. We're going to talk how we got into that industry. It's a pretty interesting story he's got. We're going to talk about the group psychology of watching people go through an escape room and try and work together. We're going to talk about vagabonding. Yeah, that's going to come up. Just traveling, beach living, that kind of stuff. So there's a whole bunch of good stuff in this interview that I think you're going to dig. I don't even know if you can hear it. It's super windy right here right now. Not in my hotel room, but outside. On this side of the river, at least, it's very, very windy. The palm trees is a swinging. And it's actually howling. It's like a howling wind that has been coming into my room for the last 3 days. So I don't know if you hear it, you might hear that happening. You also might hear the guy in the room next to me who seems very displeased with the service here at the casino for some reason. I don't know what he was yelling about, but I could hear him yelling. Not terribly thick walls. Maybe he can hear me talking about him right now. Who knows? But it's been interesting. I went out yesterday to take a walk along the river because I realized I had not been outside in 2 days. And that's what happens when you're doing these, 3-night casino gigs. You're just like, oh, I haven't been outside. So I went outside to take a walk along the river, the nice river, right? And there was just swarms of gnats. I don't know, that it just was not a pleasant walk at all. It was just a couple hundred people walking along the river, just waving their arms, trying not to, breathe in too deeply, and just walking through swarms of gnats. So I did that for about 20 minutes and then realized, I'm just going to go back inside now where there are no creatures trying to suffocate me, because you don't want to swallow even one gnat, right? Just one. You get one of those in there. Oof, that would be all bad. That would be just terrible, terrible, terrible. So I've been doing just getting the work done in the hotel room, just doing the writing, doing just getting in it and finishing things and doing things. I did finish the Robin Williams biography last night called Robin, and woof, what a heartbreak story. Jeez, Robin Williams is one of my heroes. Always has been ever since I was a kid. Ever since well before I started doing comedy, I could recite the Live at the Met album for you, and. So it was a really great book. If you have any interest in Robin Williams as a performer or a person, grab that. It's just called Robin. It's a biography. It's really, really good. And it's tearing my heart up. But makes me want to go out and keep doing the good work, keep doing the good comedy, music work to honor Robin's memory. So I am doing that. Before I finish up here in Nevada, by the time you hear this, here's what's coming up, though. On November the 16th, I will be at Comedy Oakland in Oakland, California. That's at a place called Spice Monkey. November the 17th, I'll be at the Paraiso Brewery in Los Banos, California. I've never played Los Banos, so that'll be fun. On November the 21st, that is Thanksgiving Eve, the night before Thanksgiving. I will be at the Urbano, California Bistro in Modesto, California. And then on November the 28th, I will be at the Outpost Saloon in Waterford, California. Yeah, another place with saloon in the name. How do you like that? Oregon, Washington coming up, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Florida, all sorts of things. Florida, hey, check it out. In October 2019, I will be there for the Fort Myers Pirate Festival. I will be doing the Laughing Comedy Club. So you can put that on your calendar well in advance, and I'll see you in Florida next October. There it is. You can get all the information for those tour dates if you go to underthecrossbones.com, click on the tour dates button, and all that info is there. You can sort it all out. We are sponsored today by Pirata Clothing. They got a brand new website, and it is a gold dang pirate utopia of shirts and hats and clothing and swimwear and more. And it's all steeped in the lore of pirates, but classy looking, right? And it's perfect for your next Caribbean cruise or your trip to the Keys. And they put up new stuff weekly. Got to go check out pirataclothing.com. Be sure to click the little ship wheel on the website to get in on Blackbeard's treasure hunt. They got some really great stuff. So go grab yourself some cool pirate gear at pirataclothing.com. And if you can get exclusive discounts when you text the word pirate to 21000. Right? So get out your phone and text the word pirate to 21000, and Pirata Clothing will send you exclusive discounts that you can check it out. Again, that is pirataclothing.com. If you're enjoying the show, come join us over on Facebook, facebook.com/underthecrossbones. On Twitter, we're at undercrossbones, and make sure you're subscribed in whatever app or thing you are listening to this podcast in, whether that be Stitcher, Slacker, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, wherever you are. Just click that subscribe button. You'll get all the new episodes automatically. Hey, I didn't even know, did I announce that this is episode number 165? I don't think I even said that like I usually do at the beginning. But fun fact about the number 165, if you have hiked the entire Tahoe Rim Trail, you can join the 165 Mile Club. I presume because the Tahoe Rim Trail is 165 miles. But if you've done it on foot or by horse or by bike, you get to join that club, which gets you, I don't know what that gets you. I think you just get to say, I did that, and people go, it's pretty cool, man. And then everybody goes on with their day. That's how it works. You can also be sure to get all the show notes for this episode under thecrossbones.com/165. If you want to donate or help support the show in any way, go to underthecrossbones.com/support. There's a little PayPal box there where you can put any amount of money in there. There's also, if you want to do Venmo or Cash App, I can take money any way you'd like. The information is all there on that page to do that. There's also an Amazon banner. If you click that Amazon banner, buy yourself something nice. just something for yourself. You could do your Christmas shopping, but why? Why would you could buy yourself something? Go to and click that Amazon banner, buy yourself something nice. Amazon kicks me back a few shekels, and that helps keeps the show going. If you want to be a sponsor of the show, like Parada Clothing or Yellow Pine Publishing or Pirate Radio of the Treasure Coast or any of those fine sponsors we have over the years, you can find out about that too. Again, that's underthecrossbones.com/support. All right, so we are going to do this right now. We are going to get into my interview with PJ Dolan of Secret Spot Escape Rooms in San Diego, California. Check it out. You own Secret Spot Escape Rooms in beautiful San Diego. San Diego is the only other city I'd move to besides where I live here in San Jose, because it is a fantastic city. Tell me a little bit about your pirate-themed escape room. Can you give us kind of the basic story behind it?
Sure, yeah. It's a pretty badass setup. Basically, when you start the experience, there's a video that starts. Old creepy pirate comes on and he says, "You found my hideout. You've got a pirate's hour to find my treasure, take my treasure. You're going to be cursed till the end of your days." So it's a pretty creepy setup. The room is themed out more like a master quarters on a ship. Like very elegant, but still has some creep factor to it, but really nice furniture and wooden walls and pirate skulls and sextants and different nautical things, old maps of San Diego Bay on the wall, like these historical 1850s maps. And then at a certain part in the game, they'll find this back room that's super creepy, with people, chained up to the walls and pirate chests and kind of a one-eyed Willie type dude in the background as well.
Nice.
So yeah, very, very piratey.
That's great, man. That's very cool. Now, is this your first escape room business?
This is the first escape room that I built solo. I've been working for a company, a resort group, and my title with them is the Chief Fun Officer, FUN. So I've been building a bunch of stuff for them, virtual reality rooms and 3D printing labs and escape rooms. Once I got on that a couple years ago, we've just been having a ton of fun building them. And I eventually said, you know what, let's just start a brand and build one of these at the beach and see how it goes. So we've been up and running for a couple months now, and we've been having a blast. We're about a block and a half from the pier in Ocean Beach, San Diego. So it's a great place to be.
Yeah, it definitely is. What was your background before getting into that? Because that sounds like first of all, super fun job, but also one that takes some specific skills in gamifying things and things like that. Did you have a background in any of that before you started doing it?
I was kind of just, I was a vagabond for a long portion of my life. I think in my 20s, I just started traveling and didn't look back, living in New Zealand and Peru and Thailand for a while. When I kind of got back into the States and settled down, I took a resort job doing, it was like a resort services type of deal where I was running pools and cocktail bar and did some type of corporate team building stuff for the 7 months a year that we didn't have the summertime crowd. And I kind of got lucky in that I got a recruiting letter from this company one day and went to meet the other company. And I gave them this resume that was, a little food and beverage here, a little manager experience here. And we just got on the topic of traveling. And, I basically just ear gouged them for about 15 minutes about some of the places I'd seen and lived. And they said, you know what, you're kind of a wild card. This is a weird role, being a chief fun officer. So we're just going to, give you a chance and see what happens. So it was kind of a lucky situation that I got the opportunity.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. What kind of learning curve did you find once you got into the job where there was some sort of challenge where you were like, oh boy, I don't know how to do this. How do I figure that out?
Yeah, I think from day one, they weren't really sure what they wanted me to do. And I wasn't 100% sure about, what exactly I wanted to do at the resort. So they had 6 resorts in their lineup. I was working where I had an office in the corporate office, but I was expected to travel to the resorts and basically get a read on the resorts and then start popping things in there. So I would say the biggest learning curve was that I was thinking really big picture stuff like these flow rider wave machines and indoor skydiving parks and that type of thing. And I did a ton of due diligence on that type of stuff. And by the time it got back to the higher ups, they're kind of like, man, this sounds really cool, but we don't necessarily have $12 million to buy an indoor skydiving thing. So I ended up getting, my workaround through that was just getting really scrappy and saying, what can we do that's going to be really high impact for our guests, but isn't going to blow the budget out of the water, or things that we can build and take a little hit initially on the budget for the year, but by the end of the year, we're going to make back the money. So something like a virtual reality room fits perfectly into there because, those HTC Vives and the Oculus Rift virtual reality setups, will cost you a little less than $2,000. And when you pop it into a resort and you charge, a few bucks every half an hour, you're going to make your money back before the end of the year. And that's kind of how the escape room model got in there too. You can theme out a room, you buy the products. A lot of times you're thrifting for stuff, so that's kind of a fun adventure in and of itself.
Sure.
Hitting all the thrift stores and getting the fun artifacts and then putting them all on the table and just having a little powwow with yourself and a couple friends and saying, man, how can we make this into a cool treasure hunt adventure? The first one we built was a time travelers one. We built a jungle themed escape room. We did a prohibition escape room. We did this cabin in the woods type of experience up in North Star. And then the pirate one, this most recent one is the most recent one that I built. And I built that solo with one of my buds.
Very cool. So you've built some escape rooms before, and that would give you then. So you weren't. This wasn't your first time designing puzzles like this, because what I noticed in the reviews of your room, where everybody was like, "Oh, the puzzles are really great. They don't give away too much, but they're just helpful enough to get you through." And the reviews of your room seem to be really, really good. So I was wondering where that experience had come from, because I don't imagine anybody goes in on their very first escape room and nails it.
Yeah, I think it was trial and error. There is some really low hanging fruit of puzzles that you can use initially. Like a lot of the first time rooms will include like black lights and that type of thing. You kind of use some black light pen and then you find a black light somewhere in the room and then all of a sudden, whoa, you got a message there. But as you get a little more a little deeper into it and get some under your belt and experience some out there, the puzzles get a little more in depth. And I mean, to be perfectly honest, Phil, I've just kind of wing it. And the creative juices come out. The process for me really is to get a general theme, get a couple elements of the room that I know we want to build, whether it's like, a fireplace that swings off the wall and creates this hidden passage, or the jungle temple, where the golden Buddha is hidden inside. Like we'll get a couple structural build needs, start building on that, start getting collecting a bunch of cool looking artifacts, and as we're shopping, I'm kind of looking at things and saying, man, I can make some cool funky stuff with this, or this could connect to this, or I could put a symbol on this. And then I never really have a cohesive plan when we start building the room. It's about, halfway through the build that all the artifacts start coming in, and, maybe 2-3 weeks before, we start running tests on it. We really hunker down and say, okay, we can kind of see what the room's starting to look like now. As the process is continued and we keep adding stuff, it always evolves. And then we really dial in the clues and say, all right, this is going to connect here, and let's build this little thing over here so it connects. So it's not like a blueprint for a house where you've got everything dialed and then you just say, hey, go. It's really kind of a creative process as during the whole time.
That's very cool. How much are you able to work the kinks out of it, iterating through the different puzzles and stuff before you actually open? Or after you opened, was there still things that you had to go in and tweak because they were either too easy or too hard?
Yeah, there's always that test trial period where you have some rooms come through and you make some tweaks. It's never exactly how you designed it because, on the front end, you're thinking, okay, this connects to this and this connects to this, and this is going to be very logical. But what happens is groups will come in the room and people will engage with the room in ways that you completely weren't even expecting. Like, for example, I had these light fixtures in the pirate room that I recently built, and there's like a North Star on them, and or a couple of really bright stars on the light filters, and people are reading another clue that says "Follow the sun north to prove your worth." Which is kind of connects you to a compass in the room and some different directional coordinates. It's kind of one of the riddles they figure out. That's just a small piece of it. But, as soon as I put the filters in, which was a couple weeks after we opened, people started looking up at the filters and saying, man, this must be Follow the Sun North because there's the North Star. So it basically, people always engage with the room different than how you expected it. So I would say that the process continues to be ongoing for even a couple months after you open. I'm about 2.5 months in on this pirate room, secret spot, Dark Seas Hideout, and my process is that I'm there, I welcome the guests, and then I watch these different groups go through, whether it's a group of 2 or a group of 8. Some people have done 150 rooms. Some people are doing a birthday party for their first time, and every room figures things out at a different speed. Everybody's trying new things. So I always tell my crew at the resorts when we do those builds and I go to build and I leave, I say, don't make any changes based on the first few groups that come in. Make sure we're watching a good 10, 15, 20 groups. Fix the stuff that we know we need to immediately if there's something that's just off. But it's hard to, just make adjustments based on one room because really everybody works the room differently. We had a group in there the other day that finished the room in like a record time of 28 minutes on an hour-long experience. And I went in there thinking, oh, is my room too easy? And then, the 2 rooms after that, it was like right down to the buzzer. And one of the rooms didn't get out, so it's just goes to show you every group is kind of works different.
Yeah, that's interesting. Do you have a certain percentage of people that that can make it through the room? Is it 80% of the people, or is there a percentage that you're trying to hit where it's not too easy but not too hard?
Yeah, I think most rooms keep their percentages. I would say we're about 70%. My goal really is with the rooms is that I want people to succeed because I want them to go through the whole adventure and get that climax at the end and really have the whole experience. But it really depends on the group too, because some of the experienced groups won't want to get hints along the way. They'll be very reluctant to get any help. It's either kind of like, we're going to do this or, we're going to fail trying, but we're going to do it all of ourselves. And other groups are very open to getting a little guidance along the way. And some people don't need guidance at all. And what I mean by that, Phil, is like every room has a hint system. So when you go in there into the room and your group is kind of saying, you know what, we need to get a little more progress in this area. We know this is something, we can't quite connect it. Our hint system is that we've got these little gold pirate medallions stashed in the room. And when they find the gold pirate medallions, they can consult the sword, we say. So I've got a little pirate sword that's mic'd up with a 2-way radio. So they holler out for a clue. And like at all escape rooms, there's cameras in the room. So there's a moderator outside. They can see where they're at in the game. And they'll be able to give them a hint, rather, based on where they are in the game. So we can say, hey, look over here in this section, or, we kind of give it to them in a fun sort of in-theme style, not too vague where you piss anybody off, where they're like, oh, great, man, you just give us something else to work on. But, but not so direct where it's like, well, we didn't really want you to solve the puzzle for us. So the hint system is actually a really subtle but important part of the escape room experience. And if you read reviews of other escape rooms, whether it's our escape room or other escape rooms, people mention the hint systems, and rooms have different ways of going about it. Some people just, continuously offer hints throughout the experience, whether they want them or not. And that sometimes rubs people the wrong way. And other times people really like that because it keeps them flowing. But I usually kind of let them choose in the beginning. We've got the gold pirate coins. You can holler at me for hints. But some rooms, even the fresh guys go in there and they don't ask for hints at all. And they could be 40 minutes into the game. And because I know how long it takes for each puzzle, I'll start, kind of saying, hey guys, you cool with the hint? And if they're cool the first time, I'll give them some guidance to keep everything flowing. And 9 times out of 10, that's when you see more aha moments and smiles, and they get rolling into the game a little bit more. So again, I would say probably about 70% pass, if not higher, but it all depends on how open the group is to getting a little guidance. But it can be done with no hints whatsoever as well.
That's a really great way of being able to customize it for each individual, because I think one of the fears of people who've never done it before, which includes me, but only because I haven't had time to go to one yet, but my girlfriend and I keep talking about it. I think one of the fears is that it's going to be, well, we're going to go drop $35 and then we're only going to get halfway through it if we're not good at puzzles, and we won't get to finish it. So I think that's a really cool way of making sure that people get their money's worth out of it too, that they'll get to the big boss at the end and be able to have the whole experience. I really like that.
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely want them to get the whole full experience and get the climax at the end and get their wheels turning. And it's definitely a different, you got to be, especially for the first time groups, you definitely want to go in thinking, all right, we're going to dedicate an hour to this, and we're going to be engaged at the room, and we're going to figure things out. It's not like a movie experience or, a theater where you go in and things happen and you observe. You're really like a live actor in the room. If you go to a good room, it's super themed out, so you're kind of like in a different world for an hour. In our room, you're basically a pirate, someone who's rolled up on this pirate's hideout, and you're trying to rob them of the treasure. The guy's going to curse you. So it's kind of fun. It's like you're in a movie or a video game for a little bit. But, since you bring it up, it's funny to hear people's reactions to, their escape rooms are definitely popping up all over, and they're increasing in popularity. But when you're out there, word of mouth kind of marketing around town, you get so many different reactions. Like, is this a panic room where you lock yourself in if somebody's breaking into your house? Or is it some type of like, I've been talking to females in the grocery store randomly about, hey, I built this escape room, whether it's the checkout counter person, and she kind of looks at me like, like I'm being fresh with her, and she's like, oh, that's not for me, sonny boy, like, so there's all these kind of like different ideas of what it is out there. Some people think it's like the float, the sensory deprivation tanks that you go floating in. So that's a lot of the time it's the conversation I'm having with the people right now, is just explaining what an escape room is too. But it's fun. Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, because they're definitely not mainstream yet. And I think part of it also is that I know I've got at least 6 or 7 here in the city I live in, but I've never actually seen one. They're always sort of tucked away, and they're not very obvious to the community. So I can see how, they're known to a certain gaming demographic, role-playing demographic, all that kind of stuff. The nerds and dorks of the world know what escape rooms are, but yeah, the check stand lady at the grocery store maybe doesn't.
Yeah,
if she's not paying attention to that stuff. That's pretty interesting. So you're there in Ocean Beach, which is one of the most beautiful scenic places in the world. How is it that you convince people to go inside for an hour and solve puzzles instead of spend time in the sun?
Yeah, that helps, and it hurts me. You get a lot of walk by traffic, but a lot of people are just there for the beaches and the brews and, those outdoor dining experience and that type of thing. A lot of people are, looking up escape rooms and coming specifically to the location. So, whereas I originally thought, man, we're going to be in OB. This is great. There's so many people cruising around. You hit it on the head, Phil. Like, it's hard to pull people in sometimes in such a beautiful, sunny place. But a lot of our business is coming in from people that are searching for different escape rooms. And then when they find, one at the beach, they're saying, okay, this is great. We can go to the escape room and go around the corner and get some brews afterwards, or go to the beach and that type of thing. So I think it helps and it hurts a little bit, because we are in such a beautiful place. It's not a place you necessarily want to go indoors for an hour, because we're literally a block from the beach and it's always beautiful weather. But yeah, man, it's working. It's working beautifully. And I think in the end, being down there is really going to help us. But right now, it's you're right. It's hard to grab them and say, hey, come check this out indoors for a little bit, because it's so beautiful outside.
Do you find that most of your customers are locals or tourists?
Right now, I would say locals, and that could be just because we're so new that we don't have that search engine optimization built up to really reach those people that are on
TripAdvisor and such. Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't been out there for 2 years and have 200-300 reviews built up yet to reach some of those markets. So a lot of the people are local. We've definitely have a lot of local businesses hitting us up because escape rooms have become a very big team building thing for office peeps.
Mm.
They get their office group in there, 6 to 8 of them, and they kind of people's personalities start coming out, and there's kind of like leadership roles that come about, and sometimes the people that are the most vocal, will lead you in the wrong direction, and they kind of have to recorrect, and it's a fun psychological thing to watch. I think it's really cool to have work groups in there because people will they're forced to work together to do something that's entirely ridiculous and silly, like finding pirate treasure on a Wednesday at 2:00 when you're on the clock at work. So it's fun to see those groups come in there. And then a lot of the locals in Ocean Beach, it's a very fun, funky town. We've got like a playhouse there that's showing Rocky Picture Horror Show right now, and they're doing all these Rocky Horror scavenger hunts around town, and very fun kind of artsy community. So a lot of the locals are saying, oh man, I've always wanted to do one of these escape rooms. It's killer. We've got one in town. We're going to go check it out, support local business. So that's a big part of our customers right now too. So unlike any business, we're taking care of our customers. I'm there every single day, hosting every group and just making sure their experience is off the charts, making those adjustments we need to, and trying to build up that street cred, on those sites like Yelp and TripAdvisor and Google. So the tourists, when they are kind of Googling for things to do, that starts popping up rather than them having to really search for it.
Sure, yeah. And I imagine once enough of the locals have experienced it, then when they've got friends coming into town, they'll be like, oh, here's the thing you got to go do this escape room. So the word of mouth will probably help as you get further into it as well.
Those special events really help, like whether it's a friend's visiting or birthdays or something like that. Definitely. We get a lot of like special event celebrations in there.
Sometimes. Sure. What made you go for a pirate theme on your first independent venture with this?
I think I've always kind of been a pirate at heart. I've loved pirate stuff, and being so close to the coast, I thought it was really appropriate because you can literally walk out the door and you're looking at the Pacific Ocean there too. And I've lived in some very piratey places like the Outer Banks of North Carolina and New Zealand, and I love kind of Viking culture and that type of thing. So part of it is just my love and affinity for that, style of life and everything that is pirate, just kind of traveling and pillaging and having fun and that type of thing. And another part that goes into it is, you're always thinking about, what's it going to take to build this sucker too? I knew that I could source some really cool pirate stuff and build a room that was pirate themed, and it wouldn't be like we were choosing to do, like, for example, we did a jungle themed escape room in San Diego about 8 months ago. And for that room, you really need to build, everything needs to be a custom build, whether you're building the jungle temple. We themed it after Angkor Wat in Cambodia. All the little huts and the trees and the temples and that type of thing, everything is really a custom, like handcrafted build. Whereas other themes, for instance, like, you see a lot of themes where there's a bomb in somebody's house and the theme is, some dude's house. So you can go out and get furniture that's a little more easy to come by, and the cost is a lot lower on something like that. So the pirate theme was a nice, like, meet in the middle type of theme where you wouldn't have to custom build everything, but you could still, I could still choose a theme that was really close to me. I always end up seeming like halfway through the build, I get it, like, take a movie into account too. So Goonies was definitely, I watched Goonies several times as I was building this room. And, we did one up in Tahoe that's like a gold miner's room. And, there's a Daniel Day-Lewis movie, There Will Be Blood, which is like super stoic and a badass movie. And I always kind of take these into mind as I'm building the rooms. But yeah, man, I love pirate stuff, and it felt like a really cool fit being right there by the coast.
Let's talk travel a little bit, because I think everybody, when you say I was sort of a vagabond and I lived in all these thousand places, that perks up a lot of people's ears. Why? How were you able to manage that? I mean, did you just read Rolf Potts and get on the road, or how did that lifestyle start to become part of you?
Yeah, I would. It started. I went to school out in Utah. I grew up on the East Coast. Went to school in Utah. When I went out there, I saw these like Wasatch Mountains for the first. Holy man, there is some beautiful stuff out there, and it just affected me. So while I was going to school, I got a job at the snowboard park, and I started traveling to Costa Rica in the summer times
Hmm.
with all of my buddies, and would live there for a few months and realized how easy it was to make some money in the States and then go to a different economy. And, we were living off rice and beans. We were probably making, $5 an hour at the snowboard place. And I was delivering pizzas in the nighttime. But by the time you got to Costa Rica, you were like the president for like $15 a day. We were just laughing, surfing these beautiful waves. So after college, I basically just took that concept and started charging it. And I was in. Sometimes I would work along the way. So for when I was in New Zealand, for instance, I got about a year and 3 months into it, I got a working visa. I was under 30 at the time. I'm 38 now. I was probably in my early 20s, and just started working at cafes and little bars, and I would work for my accommodation in hostels. And I bought a van that we called Bam Bam, and we lived in that a lot of the time, and pulled up under trees and camped out for a couple weeks straight on the beach, and surfed these really beautiful places like Kaikoura on the South Island. We camped under this tree for about a month, and there's this beautiful surf break outside, and you're looking back from the water at these snow-capped mountains, and we're pulling these big mussels off the rocks, and just really really fun, cool experiences. New Zealand, I worked, but a lot of times I would travel for 6 months, 8 months, and I'd go back to the Outer Banks in North Carolina, which is a huge kind of pirate town. It's the graveyard of the Atlantic there,
Sure.
and I would work the very tail end of the summer and through the hurricane season that we called it, and work hospitality jobs, bartending, work for 3 or 4 months, save up $6,000, $8,000, and go somewhere like Thailand where the money went really far. So I kind of had it down to a science. Yeah, it was a good run for a really long time, and then I ended up meeting my wife one year in North Carolina. She was over on an exchange program from Ukraine,
Huh.
and I was just teed up to go back to Peru and continue to go surfing. I had just done the hurricane season, and we ended up just traveling down to the Keys and saying, "Let's give this a go." And the rest is history. We've been married about 7 years and ended up in San Diego. But that's kind of how I was. Funding the run was just kind of popping in and out of the country, making money here, and then go into an economy where the money went really far, and just living very, very simply. And the thing that I love to do was surf and kind of like dig into the culture and eat food. And those were all very inexpensive things in those countries.
Nice. That sounds really fun. Yeah, and I guess you do have to pick the places where the money goes further. I just got back from Canada. The American dollar does not go very far there.
Yeah, some of those places can hurt you. Those are the places that my wife loves to go as well too. And I should probably, this might hit the cutting room floor for my own safety. But yeah, sometimes she's like, "Let's go to this place in Europe or Abu Dhabi or something like that." And I'm kind of doing the math in my head, and I'm thinking, well, I know that this we can go to Thailand and it's $30 a day and you're just living like a prince. And some of these other places are, a heck of a lot more expensive. Great places to visit. I'd love to visit them all for sure. But yeah, there's definitely a strategy to stretching your money and getting that cultural experience.
Nice, nice. Well, if anybody wants part of the cultural experience of San Diego and Ocean Beach, they should definitely go to your escape room. Where's the best place online for people to keep up with what you're doing and get tickets for the room?
I would say on our Facebook page, pop in, check out some cool photos. We're always taking fun photos around town. Our website is secretspotescaperooms.com. So definitely check that out. There's some cool shots of, what the room kind of feels like in there, and you can book in there, and, feel free to hit me up as well via the website, and we'll take care of your group when you come in town.
Super, man. That sounds fantastic. And I hope to get there myself next time I run through San Diego. If I have time, I'm looking forward to doing that. So is there anything I forgot to ask you about that you want people to know?
No, not really. I think the escape room business is kind of like how entertainment is going these days. People are looking for, I think personally in my life, I've always valued experience over possession. So,
sure.
Going out and dropping a little coin on an escape room is just, you're going to remember that for a while. More so than, the retail therapy or whatever else you might throw down on. And we're big foodies in our family, so we definitely go out and love to, try a good craft beer in San Diego or have a great plate of food. But, there's something sacred about the experiences that we have in our life, whether it's through travel or, even a great movie that you watch that affects you. And I think that escape room experience is a good example of just something different, fun, and funky that people can try, that they're going to remember, and they're going to have some laughs with their friends, and they're going to, your brain's going to flex a little bit in a couple ways, and you're going to have some aha moments, and you're going to be, laughing and slapping each other on the back. So it's just a cool kind of new funky experience. And I would encourage the people that aren't already addicted and have done hundreds of rooms to go out there and pick a theme that you like, whether it's a bomb going off or, a pirate theme or Kim Jong-un's prison or whatever the heck it is, and go out there and have fun and, give it a go.
Fully agree, man. Fully agree. Cool. PJ, thank you for taking the time to do this. I really, really appreciate it.
My pleasure, Phil. Thank you, man. We're looking forward to having you at Secret Spot when you come into town.
You bet. And there it is, friends. That is my interview with PJ Dolan from Secret Spot Escape Rooms. Man, I really want to go do it. I love going to San Diego anyway. I always have great shows. The crowds are awesome. The Mexican food is spectacular. And now there is a pirate-themed escape room that I must go visit down there. So any reason to go to San Diego is a good reason for me. Did you enjoy the show or the interview? Did you hear something in there that you wanted to jump in on and the conversation? Come let me know about that. Let us know about that over at facebook.com/underthecrossbones. And you can discuss said episode and interview right there and do it. So if you want to find out more about the Secret Spot Escape Room, go to secretspotescaperooms.com. That's escape rooms with an S on the end of it here. Secretspotescaperooms.com. And of course, that will be also in the show notes at underthecrossbones.com/165. We're sponsored today, of course, by Pirate Radio of the Treasure Coast, WKKC-DB playing the best music of today's hits and yesterday's classics, and Pirate Radio Talk playing the best pirate shows, including Under the Crossbones, 24/7, all commercial free. To listen, just go to pirateradiooftheTreasureCoast.com or grab the Pirate Radio WKKC-DB app from your favorite app store. Those are the music stations. And for the talk station, go to pirateradiotc.com or grab the Pirate Radio Talk app in your favorite app store for the talk station. And of course, you can just hit your Google, hit your OK Google, hit your Alexa, hit your oops, see, my phone just went on when I said OK Google. Look at that. It did that right there. Just kidding, Google. Shut up. You can do that and say, play Under the Crossbones, and it will do that. Or play Pirate Radio, The Treasure Coast, and it will do that for you because magic. That's how it works. All brought to you by iTreasure Radio, the very best digital media from independently owned stations at iTreasureRadio.com. And that is our show for today, friends. Thank you once again for tuning in. I always appreciate it. If you want to find out more about PJ Dolan's pirate-themed escape room, go to secretspotetescaperooms.com. Rooms with an S. secretspotetescaperooms.com. And of course, that'll be linked up in the show notes at underthecrossbones.com/165, where you can get all the info, see some pictures, all that kind of good stuff. Will be right there in the show notes. Next week, We have Eric J. Dolan on the show. No relation to PJ Dolan. In fact, they're spelled differently. Eric J. Dolan is the author of Black Flags, Blue Waters, which is a book about American pirates. It's a great book, and an angle that I haven't seen a whole lot of in a lot of my pirate reading, so it's very cool. I enjoyed the book quite a bit, and I know you will too. So Eric J. Dolan is coming up on the show next week. And again, go for the show notes for this episode, underthecrossbones.com/165. All right, I'm feeling like I may have digested some of my buffet from the last few days, and so it's time now that I go eat another buffet. All right, I'll see you next week.